Well, hi there and welcome back to the homestead. And if you guys are new around here, my husband and I live off grid, which means we don't have any public utilities. We live 100% off rainwater and we grow about 90% of our food. So welcome. And it's been such a long time, guys. I can't even believe, can't remember last time I did a fermenting video. I was gifted a bag of carrots, organic carrots, and they were getting kind of roots on them and getting kind of yucky. And so she was going to throw them out, and I'm like, no, don't do that. I'll take them because I'll ferment them. So I want to bring you along and show you how easy it is to ferment. A lot of people are new to fermenting, or a lot of people hear the word and they freak out. And fermenting has just been, it's an ancient practice of preservation, just using salt and a little water, and that is it. And then you're going to use your vegetable, and it's very, very simple. And the health benefits you're going to get out of this is just off the chain, because when you hear that word probiotic, that means good bacteria. And basically when we look at our digestive tract, our gut, you hear a lot about good gut health. You have good and bad bacteria. We live with bad bacteria. I mean, there's nothing wrong with germs. We have good and the bad. Unfortunately, in this day and age, with people's diet and the different toxins and things, we have more bad bacteria, and that's what causes sickness and disease. So if we can do these little things like ferment, so simple and easy, to add a little bit of that probiotic or good bacteria back into your gut, it can really help a lot of things. And when you go to buy a lot of these things in the store, they can be pricey, and this is it's like pennies on the dollar, and especially with the prices of the grocery store now. But today what I want to do is show you probably one of the easiest ferments that you can do, which are carrots. And the wonderful thing is kids love them. My kids come over, my grandkids, and they are like, do you have any more of those carrots? Because they love them and they taste great. So come on, I want to show you how easy it is. All right, for this recipe, all you're going to need is a quart-sized mason jar. You can do wide mouth or you can do regular mouth. It's up to you. It's your choice. You're going to need some carrots. You're going to need an onion. And it doesn't make any difference. That's the cool thing about fermenting. Just use what you got. So if you don't have onions, don't use onions. And then I put a couple cloves of garlic that I just chopped up, and that is it. But if all you have is carrots at home, go ahead and do the carrots. But I will tell you, if you put garlic in with any of your ferments and that's all you have, it totally turns it into a rock star. So garlic really makes it taste great. And then fresh herbs, but we'll get into that later. All right, so all I did was I peeled these carrots. They were all kind of icky, so I definitely wanted to peel these. So I peeled them off. And then I'm just going to rinse them a little bit. And then the next thing you're going to need is some salt, some unrefined salt. My salt of choice by far is Redmond real salt, because it is mined from an ancient seabed. It's pristine, no contaminants or anything, right here in the United States in Utah. It didn't have to go 7,000 miles. It's right here, so I support them. So now let's get started. It is so simple and easy. So here is my salt. You're going to need 4 teaspoons of salt, and you're going to put it in some purified water. So I'm going to make a quart of my ferment, so I only need a half of that. So this is about a pint or 2 cups or so. So all I'm going to do right now is put 4 teaspoons of salt, of unrefined salt, into my filtered water. You don't want to use chlorinated water because the chlorine can affect the ferment. So you don't want that. You just want to have good old-fashioned purified water, and that's what's going to work the best. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to make sure that it's mixed up really well. I want that to dissolve. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut my carrots in little buttons. Now there's other ways to do this. You could cut these in carrot spears, like a pickle. You could do it like that. Whatever works for you guys. But I'm going to mix this with my onions, so I like to do it like this. So basically, I'm going to layer it. So I'm going to put some carrots first, and then I'm going to put maybe a couple pieces of garlic. Then I'm going to put a few pieces of onions. So it's just going to be carrots, garlic, and onions. Carrots, garlic, onions, all the way to the top. I'm going to go all the way to the top until I have about 1.5 inches headspace left. Getting closer. You guys feeling it? We're almost there. The rest of my onions. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Alrighty, so now, Mason Tops also has this handy as acacia wood. It's a packer. So it's wonderful because I have a bigger one for the regular or the wide mouth, and I have a smaller one for the regular mouth jars. So I'm going to use the wide mouth part, and I want to mash this down really good. And that shows me I can probably put a few more carrots in there. And then I'll measure it to make sure I have 1.5 inch head space. So I always use my finger. Each one of your lines is 1 inch. So I want about 1.5 inches. It looks like it's perfect right here. Right now, we're going to pour our water, or brine. Just shake it up again just in case to make sure you got it all. I'm going to pour it over the ferment. And then I'm going to use my weight that goes on top of the ferment. Remember, you have 2 choices. Either you're going to be using the onion skin peels, or the peels, or you're going to use the weight. All right? So if I'm using my puck, I'm going to put it on top, just like that. And I don't want anything floating at the top. Now I have a little too much water, so I'm going to let some of it go, just like that. And then I'm going to place my fermenting top with a ring, like so. There you go, that's it. Now I'm going to put it somewhere in my house where it's room temperature. You don't want to stick it in direct sun or anything like that, so don't stick it in your window. I usually put mine right here where I can see it. And then that way I can monitor it, and then I know that I have a couple weeks. I'm going to go 10 to 14 days. Now here's a little quick tip for you guys. I, a lot of times, will use a piece of masking tape, and I'll just get a pen or a marker, and I write the date that it's ready. So then I know it's time for me to check it. Because half the time you got so much going on, you forget. All right, so here's my masking tape. You're just going to write, here for everyone. All right, so what I'll do is I write on there the date that it's going to be ready for me to check. And all I'm going to do is stick it right on the front. And then I know that's when I'm going to have to taste it. All right? Now here was your other option. So if you don't have the fermenting glass puck or the top, you're going to use your onion peels like so. Stick them on the top, because remember, you do not want any of your vegetables, the carrots or the onions, to be floating above the water, because that's what's going to cause it to spoil or to get rotten. All right? So right now, all of my vegetables are underneath that. And then all you're going to do is get your flat and your ring. If you're doing it this way, I would highly recommend you put it underneath a plate, because you're going to have to work a little harder for this one. You're going to have to burp it every day, because during the fermentation process, gases are going to build up. You're going to start to see little bubbles kind of going through the bottom to the top. And so it's going to become kind of effervescent. So you're going to need to gently burp it. Just like this. You just turn it and you'll hear it go psst. And then just close it shut. You don't take it off. Don't let the air get to it. Don't do anything. Just burp it every single day for your 10 or 14 days. And then let's say it's been 10 days. I know generally with my carrots, I usually always go 14 days unless it's the heat of summer, because if it's warmer or more humid, it will ferment a lot quicker. So that's when you kind of have to watch it. But right now, if we're in spring, in the winter months, you'll probably be fine in your homes unless you're living someplace tropical. Then you definitely maybe check it after maybe even 8, 9, 10 days to see how it tastes. It wants to have a kind of a tangy flavor. It'll be sour. It's kind of similar to a pickle. So if you're liking that flavor, it's going to just taste like pickled vegetables. And they taste spot on, amazing. They're great as side dishes. You can put them, I just dump a bunch of them in my salads, because Doug is like, you know, half the time, oh, you want to ferment? Because I'll forget. And he's like, no, I'm okay. And then generally what I do for him to eat them every day is I always will dump a few tablespoons in our salads, and then I mix them all together. And your relatives or nobody will even know that you're giving him a fermented food. So you got the onions that are fermented, you got the garlic that's fermented, so it works out great. So then after my time, 10 to 14 days, you taste it, and then if it's to your liking, you're going to go ahead and take off your onion peel, or you'll take off your puck. Put your flat back on, and then I want to place this into cold storage. So you can put it back into your refrigerator, you can put it down in your root cellar, someplace where it's going to keep it cool, because when you make it cold, it's going to slow down the fermentation process. It doesn't totally stop it, it'll just slow it down, and then that way it'll stay in the refrigerator for months and months and months and months, but usually you'll eat it by then. I know if my grandkids come over, they're like, oh, can I have more carrots, can I have more carrots? So, and then it's a wonderful thing, like if you have parties or people come over and this is sitting out, it's a wonderful thing. If you have an hors d'oeuvre tray, if you have some cheese and crackers, you can add it to that too. And usually everyone really likes the carrots. So that might be a way to start for your first ferment if you haven't done it before. Or if you guys haven't been fermenting in a while, this would be a good one to do right now. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are starting to ferment again, or if you haven't done it before, I hope this gives you kind of the knowledge and power that you can do it and that you're not going to kill yourself. A lot of people I know I talk to, they're like, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to get salmonella, I'm going to, get E. coli, or I'm going to get botulism or something, and you're not. Just remember that botulism and those things cannot survive in an anaerobic environment, and when you ferment something like this, it's under the water and it's totally protected under that brine, and when you have that, things cannot thrive. So when you can something with high heat, you're going to destroy all the enzymes, because basically these vegetables are like, they have like a tiny little, like a colony of wonderful microorganisms, and that's what you're going to ferment to turn into this good bacteria. So there are those good happy bacteria on there, and when they're protected with the water, they'll be fine. But then when you can something, it's going to destroy those enzymes. So that's generally when you're going to get botulism or things like that. So not with fermenting. And the trick to fermenting, everybody listen to this, your nose knows. So when you take the lid off after your 10 to 14 days, it should smell good. It should smell oniony and garlicky and taste good. If you happen to find, it's a dreaded film. It's of this white chalky stuff. It's called chyme yeast. It's okay, it's not going to hurt you, it's not mold, don't dump the whole thing out. All you need to do is I get a paper towel and I just wipe it off just a little bit. Okay, just wipe it all off, and then you can just kind of mix it up, and once it's been wiped off, you should be fine. Generally, if you would leave that on there, it might have more of a yeasty taste, but it's not going to hurt you. So just smell it. Now if it got kind of like goopy, globby, it had, black and green mold on it, and it smelled weird, then I'd probably dump it out and compost it. But just listen to your nose, or listen, just know your nose knows, and it will tell you if it's right or if it's not. So be brave. I know you guys can do it. I want you to leave a comment below if this is your first time ever fermenting, or if you guys are like an avid fermenter. I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, keep fermenting, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye. Forrest and Jenny sitting in a tree. Forrest drinks his bottle and Jenny likes to get a little lovin'. And then this is Lieutenant Dan. Say hi, Lieutenant Dan. We got all three of them here.